Welcome in, whiskey freaks, to the Blind Tasting Podcast. This is John Stark, your host today, and today I'm tasting something I've had sitting around the house for quite a while. Let me explain. So a few months back, I had the chance, really the honor, to sit down with Zach Hargis and 8th generation master distiller Jacob Call from Silk Velvet Whiskey. I think it was back in April. You can listen to that episode if you like. It was a great interview with those guys. And we spent about an hour talking about bourbon and history and how in the world you bring a whiskey brand back after it's been dead for over 100 years. And while we were talking, I wasn't just pretending to drink whiskey for the podcast. I was actually sipping on this exact bottle I have right here in my hot little hand. Silk Velvet Whiskey, small batch select bourbon, their 107 proof offering. I picked it up from Sealbox, the Sealbox website, for, I think it was right around $50. And I poured a glass before the interview started, and we just shot the bowl while I kind of worked my way through it during that episode. Now here's the funny part, or the stupid part. Several weeks later, I realized I never actually gave this one a proper review. I said I was going to review it, but I didn't. And I've mentioned this before when I've referred to collecting baseball cards back in the 80s and early 90s. And this relates to whiskey now. I still believe that it does. There is just so damn much whiskey to keep up with. I just lost track. So today, I'm fixing that. Now, these were some cool cats over at Silk Velvet. And one thing that really stuck out to me from the interview wasn't just the whiskey. It was the history. And Silk Velvet isn't just some made-up brand somebody dreamed up in a marketing meeting. The original Silk Velvet, it dates all the way back to 1880 when Colonel A.E.S. Winstead built what was considered one of the finest distilleries in the country. Now, the whiskey became known for being smooth as silk, which is where the name came from. And it grew into an international brand before Prohibition, only to disappear after a fire and then an illness. All kinds of crazy shit happened. And eventually Prohibition basically killed it off. Now, more than 100 years later, Zach and his family decided that the story deserved another chapter. And I got to tell you, I love what they did with this bottle. I know you can't see it. I don't do video. I do audio. But this bottle, and you'll see it on socials when I post this episode, or you can look at the episode in April. You just look at my socials on Facebook and Instagram. And it really looks like it belongs on the back of a bar in a saloon back in like 1905. Now, during the interview, Zach told me they intentionally kept this old baby blue label. They wanted to honor the original brand, not reinvent it. And y'all know me. I've said this before. Everybody nowadays is chasing that hazmat bottle, right? But another thing I loved hearing from Zach was that they intentionally landed this bourbon at 107 proof because they wanted something with flavor and character that people would actually enjoy drinking. Hello. Not just something that's all proof and no personality. And I remember telling him right then and there that 107 proof is kind of my happy place. It really is. That wasn't bullshit. I love something in that 100 to 115 range. And that for me is the sweet spot. So here we are months later, got the same bottle, the same whiskey, different day. I'm going to get me a pour real quick here. Let me loosen. It's got this fat cork that you got to loosen out of here real carefully. And let me get a little pour of this. It's just great. It's this fat, short bottle, almost, oh gosh, I wish I could describe it better. And you can check out my socials to see what this bottle looks like. It's this fat, squatty looking bottle. It really kind of looks like something that Jesse James would have poured a drink out of after robbing trains. I mean, it's very cool. Check it out on Instagram and Facebook. Very authentic looking. So it comes to us from our good friends at Western Kentucky Distilling Company in Owensboro, Kentucky. That's where the distillate comes from. And the renowned master distiller Jacob Call, who I talked with, he blends together 12 barrels that he hand selects. Obviously, he hand selects them. He's not going to have somebody else select them for him. 12 barrels of bourbon aged anywhere from about 4.5 to 6.5 years. They're all aged in number 4 charred American oak barrels. And they use 2 different mash bills, and they blend them. One is a 70% corn, 21 rye, and 9% malted barley. And the other one is 78 corn, 13 rye, and 9% malted barley. Now, they bottled the whole thing at what, like I said, I think is about the sweet spot at 107 beautiful proof points. Now, the color. And I say never judge the color in the bottle alone. In this bottle, it is very difficult to get a good grasp of what the color looks like. It's this thick glass, and it's like got a big label and all the things. You've got to pour it into your glass. I have it in a Glencairn here. I don't want to harp on it, but in my opinion, the darker the hue of the whiskey, a lot of times means it's going to have deeper flavors. It's not always true, guys, but it is sometimes, and it's worth noting. And just like a broken record, I'm going to say it every time. Now, the color on this one, I've got plenty of light down here in the bunker. I've mentioned that before. It's fairly light, actually. It's I'd call it like a pale gold. There's nothing impressive about the color to me. Yeah. Let me get the nose on this one. Okay, I like that. It's got this heavy, thick vanilla note going on. There's some cinnamon in here too. A tinge of caramel. And it's got this nice, gentle oakiness. It all fits together. It really fits together perfectly. Yeah, I like that. Let me get a sip of this stuff. Doing that Kentucky chew. That is nice. I'm getting this nice, sweet cherry note right away. There's this terrific kind of bready note in here too. Let me get another sip of this. Yeah, the caramel I was getting on the nose, it is showing up big here on the palate. Like this delicious buttery caramel. And there's actually, and I like this particular tasting note. My preference, it's got a bit of dusty corn in here too. Like I've mentioned it before, like you stuck your head inside a dusty rickhouse. But more than that, that's more of a musty. I would say like if you stuck your head inside a grain bin where they're storing the corn after they harvest it. That's what this is like, a little dusty corn. Yeah, I know I'm over describing that, but that's what I think. It's very creamy. It's got a beautiful mouthfeel. And so far, it's got a lot going on. Let me get one more sip. I really think that number 4 char is coming into play here. It's really helping carry it on the finish. This is really what I would call full flavored. Like I know I was doing the Kentucky chew, but you can almost chew this whiskey. And I should probably point out at this point that on the finish here, after this will be my third sip, it's really bringing this nice warmth that settles in the chest. Don't misunderstand, it's not like a fiery burn or anything aggressive. It's kind of just that friendly little reminder that says, hey, buddy, you're drinking whiskey. So you're probably wondering, what's the verdict? And if you listen to the podcast, you know there are 3 verdict options. Are we going to keep it? Are we going to collect it? Or are we going to cull it? To keep it means to proudly display it in your liquor cabinet or on your bar. This stuff's good for a pour anytime, but there's really no need to stock up on it because it's always available pretty much anywhere. To collect it, grab another bottle or maybe two since you find it so damn delicious, or it just may not be easy to get your hands on. The last option is to cull it. Use it to loosen rusty bolts or sanitize a dirty toilet. In the case of Silk Velvet Whiskey, small batch select bourbon at 107 proof, I say collect it. If you don't take your happy ass over to Sealbox right now and grab a bottle, maybe even 2 bottles, and I just checked, it's still $49.99. If you don't jump over there and do that, you are missing out. And look, they're not, believe me, they're not paying me to say any of this. I wish they were, but no money exchanged hands here. And as always, guys, I bought this whiskey myself to review. The folks at disclaimer, the folks at Silk Velvet didn't send me a bottle and they didn't ask me to say nice things. I'll tell you this. I could absolutely see myself sitting in a dusty rick house with a pour of this in my hand. To me, this is quintessential bourbon whiskey. It's got the notes you're looking for and then some. What surprised me is how much complexity you're getting out of a $50 hair bottle. And it drinks exactly where it should at 107 proof. There's no surprises, there's no gimmicks, no fuss, no muss. It's just damn good whiskey. In my opinion, Silk Velvet Small Batch Select is legit. And honestly, the kids these days, they'd call it low-key one of the better bourbons I've had in quite a while. Last but not least, I got to give a shout out to the farmers, the distillery production guys and gals, the warehouse workers, the bottlers, the truck drivers. These folks are the folks that make it all happen. So cheers to all of them. Well, that's all I got for today, Whiskey Freaks. I will have a full episode out in just a couple days. Thanks for listening to the Blind Tasting Podcast. Cheers.